Yay!
Thanks
Muscle
for
and Muse
joining
has
Yeah, of
Austin
course.
and
Espy.
making
Woohoo!
time for us.
Of course. What do you guys want to talk about?
We
Everything.
appreciate it.
Well,
Awesome. I'll let you guys kind of guide it. It's been a long time since I've been on a podcast, so it's
really,
gonna
I
be kind
feel
of
so
fun. Yeah.
honored. I was going to
Yeah.
Wow.
ask you what it felt like to come on an all-female podcast
I
because
don't know. It feels special. I feel super special.
With the cool
we're,
kids.
yeah,
Cool
we're
kid.
we have no
Mm-hmm.
real topic or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. We just
And
literally
that's the
get on
best
here
way to
and
do
chit
it.
chat.
Yeah.
Um, I would love for you to tell your journey, how you got started in bodybuilding, all the way up to like getting to that Olympia stage, and then we'll just kind of banter from
Yeah.
there.
Rotate this around. There's better lighting. There we go. Okay. So from the very beginning, I got into this when I was in like, I would say like junior or senior year of high school. Just like lifting weights. I played soccer my whole life and I had a lot of like knee injuries. So I kept tearing my meniscus and like just like over and over again. I felt like I just kept like hurting myself. And I was just like, maybe soccer is not the thing for me. Maybe I'm in the wrong sport because you know how it is when you keep getting hurt. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you do all this and you spend all this time and energy like recovering. And then it's just like happens again in like a split second. You're like, bruh, I gotta, it's like tearing a muscle, right? You do it more than once, and it's like, what's the point of even, keeping this going? Because it's like, it's just gonna look so much different.
Hmm.
If you have like two surgeries, it just looks different. So I never had surgeries on my like meniscus or anything. Like I have both of them. They're torn. I don't know if they're healed or whatnot, but they're fine for bodybuilding. So that's really all that matters. But that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back with soccer. I did that competitively for probably like 14, 15 years.
Wow.
So I was like really good. I played sweeper, so I was running all the time, which is probably hard to believe, but um used to have an amazing cardiovascular system, which is my goal when I get done with
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilding at some point is I want to get back into not like running. I don't want to be one of those people who like retires and they're like, "Oh, I'm doing the hybrid stuff." Like that's not me. I just want to be functional, like to be able to like live my daily life, but I don't want to do anything in the fitness scene at all when I'm done with bodybuilding. I just want to be done with it completely. I think I've had like a really good 8 years in the industry and like I'm excited to push that to like 12 and maybe like 14 years total. But like once my prime's done, I'm done. I'm checking out and I'm gonna, just focus on family and stuff. So that's the goal. But that all started back when I was like, what would I have been like 16, 17 is when I really got like serious about lifting weights. And I started to see myself transition out of soccer into the weightlifting. Um, and I just fell in love with it. I don't know what it was about it, but I was working as a lifeguard at the time, and I was already working at the YMCA. So I was like, screw it. Like, if I have to like be here anyways for work, then I might as well just like go train afterwards. Um, and I just like fell in love with like honestly like taking pre-workout, like the process of like getting to the gym is what I love the most. And obviously the pump at the end of the workout's fun, but I've never really enjoyed training, so to speak. Like I never really enjoyed like the training, but I love the
Still,
pump.
even this
No.
day, even now, are you?
Oh no, I love training now. Like
Yeah, okay.
it's definitely changed over the years. Like now
Mm-hmm.
I definitely look forward to it. But when I started, it wasn't even the training. It was more so like, wow, I'm getting big really fast. And I wasn't taking anything. I was just like natural, completely natural at the time. And I was like, man, maybe I can do this. Cause like, you know how it is like when you have like better genetics, you're like, oh shit, like this
Hmm.
is okay. Like this is different. Everybody else around me is the same size, like no offense, but like I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, wow, I'm just like growing like a weed.
Right.
People start seeing it and they're like, oh, you should do a show. And, I end up taking stuff at some point and it just all kind of like adds up and you do your first show. And I didn't really do my first show for me. It was more like everybody's like, dude, you need to try bodybuilding. Like, you need to try it. You need to try it. And I'm like, all right, I'll try it. And then I ended up like winning the teens. And then I got like fourth or fifth in the men's open division in classic. And I was 18. So I was like, wow, maybe like, I could, do something with this. And obviously, like, this is way back when like these NPC shows were like a breeze, like no
Mm-hmm.
offense, but like now it's like you go to these NPC shows and it's like a small national show every time you go to
Hmm.
these like regional shows. So it's cool to see how much the sports come up, but I want people to list that are listening to like realize that I came up in a different era. Like not that I'm like super old school, but like it was easier. I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot easier back in the early 2000s to like in like I guess like 2000 like 12 to 2000 like 18 that era was so easy to progress in. All you had to do was just like follow your diet and not work the person next to you, whether you had good genetics or not. And the judges seem to love that. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, now it's just like, as the sport grows, you have all these eyes on it, which obviously like translate to more people on stage, which more genetic freaks come out of the woodwork, but people with better work ethic come out of the woodwork. And eventually, we're at the point now where it's like, yeah, I went to the Battle of Texas, which I had a ton of clients at, and I was just like, wow, like I thought this was to be a good show for my first time competitors. This
Hmm.
is a terrible show for my first. I mean, it's great for
Mhm.
experience and like understanding what goes into it, but man, like these shows are getting hard, like really, really hard, which is
Mhm.
cool. But like for people listening, like if you're gonna compete at some point, like make sure you understand that you're not gonna be able to like one and done this thing anymore. Like it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's very much like you got to love the process and you got to give yourself at least 2 to 3 years for your first like overall win, I would say. I feel like that's a
Hmm.
pretty good range for people when they're starting, like, have a great physique. And then from that point, have 2 or 3 years set aside where you're like, realistically, this is probably how long it's going to take me to get an overall win at like a regional show, like a pretty good regional show if I have decent genetics. So, I don't know. I had a good first run, and then I had a coach at the time for that. Some like local coach. Was We all have the same story. It was terrible, and
Pretty much, yeah.
basically took everything under the sun for my first show, which I'm not proud of. But obviously, like I placed pretty well, but like the health ramifications from that cycle at that age were just like outrageous, and I got like gyno, acne, all this stuff. So. Um, from a very early age, I saw the repercussions of drugs in like a negative way, which not a lot of people see because
Mhm.
nowadays you have so many forums and stuff that have like, let's be honest, good cycle designs, like they're pretty decent and they work for the majority of people. But like, I finally found what worked for me over the years, and now I don't have those side effects and stuff. And obviously, like working with Heather, making sure that everything like helps me out. But yeah, it just kind of like picked up, and I don't really even remember my second or third show preps, to be honest. It was kind of just like so just for fun at that point. I was like, oh, I like competing. It's fun. It wasn't ever going to be something that I was serious, like serious about. I always looked at the gym as more like a serious thing, and social media is more of like a serious thing than like actually getting on stage. Until I like won my first regional show, won the overall. It was my third or fourth show. I won Legion Sports Fest, the NPC version, part of it. And I was like, okay, there's a lot of good pro competitors at that show because it's also like a crossover to IFBB. And I had a lot of people like hyping me up, like, dude, like, there's no way you're this young and you look this good. And this is before like Instagram really popped off with like bodybuilding. So people were sharing my stuff a lot. And like 3 months after that, I had Junior USA's or something like that. No, it was like 8 months after, but we did a little off season. We prepped for Junior USA's, and man, I got humbled. That's when I really realized how much it's going to take to progress as like a even like a high-end amateur athlete trying to go pro. Like
Mhm.
there's levels to this. There's levels
Yeah.
to it, for sure. And it's not like it used to be, right? It's not like you can just take a year off and put on like 5 to 10 pounds of muscle. It's like
Mhm.
you have to take a year off, not miss anything. Like you have
Right.
to be like on prep all year and
Yeah.
then still show up and hope that it was enough. That's like
Yeah.
the competition right now. It's insane. And
Yeah.
obviously like it's higher for me right now, but that's kind of where I came from. That's kind of how it all started, and then I just kind of got more serious year to year and just kind of, I guess, just kind of did its own thing, right?
What year did you turn pro?
2023. So it took me a
Okay.
long time. My first show was
Yeah.
2019 or 2018. So I mean, it took me what, 5 years to turn pro, almost
Mhm.
6 years to turn pro. So it did not
Did you
happen
compete
overnight.
every year?
Pretty
Up
much.
and
That was
yeah.
probably my mistake. Is I did like 2018, 2019, 2020. Competed twice in 2020, I think.
Hmm.
No. I only competed at 3 regional shows before I qualified for my first national show. So
Hmm.
it's 2018, 2019, 2020, and then my first national show is 2021 Junior USA's. Then I also did nationals that year, so later on in the year. Um, and then I was striking distance there. I was with Kim Odo, a, a bikini and wellness coach, and I don't know
Hmm.
how it worked out, but I got like fourth at nationals. So I mean that was a pretty big step up from like fourth call outs at Junior USA's.
Yeah.
So went fourth call outs to like fourth place in my class, and then I hired Cameron Cheek, and then me and Cameron Cheek worked together for like, I mean, fuck, like 2 years. It
I
was like,
forgot you worked with Cameron.
Hmm.
dude, that was like the most, and I hate to say this because obviously I'm at the Olympian now, but like you learn how you can give and take and like push and pull and like where you can not slack off, but you kind of learn where you can like be a little bit looser on the reins, during the
Hmm.
year when you like do this more often. So now I understand like, okay, off season, like this is what it really looks like for me, and this is what I need to do to gain muscle, like enough muscle.
Hmm.
Back then it was like I needed to be like
Every,
100% every day.
everything. Yeah.
And I burnt myself out, but that
Yeah.
wasn't Cameron. And at the time I thought it was Cameron, but it wasn't Cameron. It was
Hmm.
me. It was me just
Yeah.
having this like insane like, dude, you need to look stage ready all year. Like you
Yeah.
need to like it's just stupid, And I think that's not talked about enough is like
Yeah.
the mental health part of it. Like you don't need to like we don't look this good year round. And if you do, your internals don't look good year round.
Right.
So it's like you have to have one or the other. You cannot look
Yeah.
good all year, like stage ready and grow. It's just impossible.
I
Yeah.
think that's a really common misconception, like you said, because it's definitely not talked about. And then,
No.
like laymen, they see you in the gym and like, oh, you gain weight. And you want to be like, I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have, I've started very gently taking on some prep clients, and I've got this girl and she's sweet as pie, but she struggles so hard with seeing that scale go up. And I told her, I was like, listen, if you can't stop hyperfixating on it, I'm taking your scale away because I'm not
Yeah.
looking at the numbers. We have to gain weight. You're going to have to hold body fat,
Yeah.
especially for females. Like, we cannot stay that lean. It
Oh,
crashes
fuck.
our estrogen,
I almost think it should be a game on how like not how fast you can put on fat, but like how fast you how fast you can get to a point as a female post show to where your body fat is at a point where you're like optimized hormonally. Because
where
like
you're
it's
healthy.
like it should be a
Hmm.
game. Guys are, how guys are. We can kind of like you just increase carbs, fats don't need to come up as much. Girls, it's like you guys should be putting in fats immediately post show, in my opinion, to try to get
Hmm.
things up as fast as you can.
And another thing nobody talks about is PCT for females.
Oh yeah.
Have you
Hmm.
ever actually heard of a female doing some kind of post-cycle therapy? No.
No.
And that's exactly why I love Kispeptin, because that's what Kispeptin is. It's a post-cycle
Really?
recovery for females. And
Really?
so, yeah,
What does it do exactly?
it resets the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. So for all of
Oh
my
wow.
females that lose their periods in their prep, I put them on Kispeptin for 8 weeks.
Hmm.
Really? It
Nine
just
times
kicks
out
it
of
back
10,
into
they get their
gear?
periods back. I call it the like defibrillator for the ovaries because it
Oh,
basically
wow.
just jump starts
Brings
them.
them back to
Yeah.
life. Yeah. There you go.
Wow.
So it's kind
That's
of
really
like
good
it's
to
kind of
know.
like Clomid or HCG for like a guy.
Exactly what
Yeah.
it is. And actually, men can take Kispeptin. It's actually good for fertility
Oh wow.
because it stimulates LH and FSH. So it's a lot
Oh,
like
okay.
HCG. Um, but yeah, for females. But I was having this conversation with it was another figure pro, and she's one of my clients. And, we're trying to correct some things post show for her.
Yeah.
And we have her on Kispeptin and SS31, fixing the
I
organs and
love
the hormones.
SS31. You put me on SS31 and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I've literally never taken truthfully, I've never taken a peptide and like outside of like IGF-1 and like outside of
Hmm.
like the things that obviously you're going to get an immediate response from. But like I've never taken one of these newer peptides
Hmm.
that people rave about and like had an experience like that. Like I
Felt
took
it.
it and within 2 weeks, I was just like, I felt like way more energy, clear-headed. And
Like
I'm
your
like,
endurance. Could you feel
it was
endurance in the gym?
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane. And I mean, we're on Mot C now. So
Yeah.
like we transitioned into that and that was a perfect transition. And I
Do you
hear
feel the
people
same
run.
on Motzi?
Okay, so I feel
Like the
it's hard to
same as
explain. Like
SS31?
I felt better as soon as I started SS31 compared to what felt before I started it.
Right.
But ever since like I feel the same. I don't feel like worse, if that makes any sense. Like
Hmm.
I don't feel better, but I just feel like very optimized, if that makes any sense. Like I
Hmm.
feel good. Like it doesn't need to get any better than this necessarily.
Yeah. You can take them together. Um,
I've heard of that, but I'm like, dang, like it was so like the SS31 was so strong for me. I was like
well,
I kept telling everybody about
I
it.
gave
I'm
you a
like,
high
wow.
dose. Like
Yeah, it
I
was good though. Yeah.
I gave you a dose most people like can't afford
Can
because that's
afford.
that's the optimal dose, really.
Yeah.
And kind of the same with Mont C, like it needs a really high dose. Unlike
Dose.
SLU. SLU doesn't need near as
Mhm.
high of a dose as people like to take of it. They're gonna have heart
Yeah.
attacks. But like SS31 and Mont C, like you can front load them and then kind of drop to
Oh,
maintenance
okay.
dosing. So
That
Hmm.
makes
you
sense.
can bolus yourself and then
Were
Okay.
you
maintain.
doing were you doing like 5 days on or doing every day?
What did you have me on for
Are
SS31? It was 5 days.
Twice a week, right?
Yeah, it
only
was
twice a
twice a
week?
week. No, it was
Okay.
twice a week. It was twice a week. It
Let
was
me
twice or three times a week. It was something like that. But I mean, it was insane. I remember the first 2 weeks I took it, I was just like wow, like I felt like I was in this fog, and it could also be like having some food after the show definitely helped. But like I mean, it was definitely like I've never felt like that post show. It was like,
Yeah.
whew, like wow, like
and
I feel really good, like clarity.
we have someone with Austin's muscle mass and structure, because you're not short.
Mhm.
Yeah,
um, that came with lab work like 2 months post, and liver and kidneys were completely normal, like
Wow.
8 weeks post Olympia. Like that's
yeah, it's
incredible.
Yeah.
it's and
That's the best you can hope for.
yeah, and I'm not sure if you I know I talked to Heather about it, but I'm not sure if you know about it, but like during my prep, I had some like definitely had some health things pop up where I was like, whoo, huge red flag. Like, I mean, I told Heather about it, not like anything to do with like the like necessarily like what me and Heather were working on. She was just kind of like helping me with peptides and stuff, but more so like with the anabolic side of things with like
Yeah.
my past coach. It was just like I think there's the communication wasn't the way it was supposed to be leading into the Olympia or into my first show this year, Texas Pro. And like 10 days out, man, I woke up like 10 days, 10 pounds heavier. And I was just like, I'm not sure if it was my kidneys. We didn't get any tests necessarily. We just pulled me off almost everything as soon as I hired Will, my current coach.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, we just detoxed my whole body. And I talked to Heather. She put me on, I think that's when you actually put me on some of this stuff. And
Mhm.
within like 2 weeks, my body was just like, it was a complete 180. No water retention, no high blood pressure, nothing. It just completely switched. So,
Wow.
a roller coaster of a last year for sure, but I feel super confident in 2026. So,
So
um,
you switched coaches before the Olympia or
before my first show of the season, 10 days out. Yeah.
wow.
So it was, yeah, and it sucked because like I've switched coaches so much in the past, and I truly felt like me and that coach were like perfect together. But it was just like the timing of it and the communication was just weird for that week. And it was just like I just needed somebody to like be there for me during that
So
time
you
because it
felt
was
like
such
everything was perfect up until that week?
literally, I don't even know how to
How
it
did
was
that
the
even switch? Like you got no red flags before then?
no, it was the
How's
weirdest
that?
thing ever. Like
Yeah.
I've never experienced
What
that in my entire
happened?
life.
Have you had a debrief with that coach to talk about like, yo, what happened?
They just want to
No.
talk. I don't know,
Oh.
but like he
Oh,
ghosted
wow.
me and just like didn't respond. And I
Jesus.
mean I tried to be as nice as I could about it, but I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't suck when a client leaves you. And especially
Yeah.
like when you're that close to a show. I would like to have some sort of like conversation. I think that'd be cool, but at this point, I just don't really care anymore. It's
Yeah.
like me and Will are just so like I've never gotten along with a coach like I get along with Will. It's actually insane. Like I had you know, every reason to just like quit last year in the prep. But every single day when I saw him in person, he's just like, dude, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. And I think once you go through that with somebody, it's like you just build so much trust and like
Yeah.
it's just such a like when you're there in
When
person
somebody
with yeah.
believes in you when you don't believe in yourself,
Oh, and
that's
it's been
it. That's
forever since I've
everything.
been in that
Yeah.
situation. I've
Yeah.
like I've always been through adversity and I've been like, oh, dude,
Yeah.
you have to believe in yourself before everybody else. And like, I truly like have
Yeah.
always been that person. And I
Yeah.
just lost myself this last year. And he
Yeah.
was literally the only reason I got through the Olympia.
Yeah.
So
Well, you
yeah,
get to see
props
him
to
in
him.
person too, so that's always cool to me. I think that
Yeah.
adds a lot to a coaching relationship. And I'm not, I don't have any, I've never met my coach in person, but it is nice, because back when
Yeah.
I worked with Jansen, like Jansen and I trained at the same gym. Like I knew he
Yeah.
was watching me train. I'd catch him. Like I
It's
couldn't
nice.
slack
Yeah,
off.
it's nice. Me and Will don't work out at the same gym, like during the off season, but it's not necessarily that he's in person. I just have a lot of respect for Will.
Yeah.
Like I said, like after like I know as a coach what it takes when a client's checked out and you have to like help them get through it online. Not to mention like in person, like I'm not gonna lie, like there was some days where I showed up and I was in such a bad mood because like when your body's just not tracking and you're just pushing and you're on
Yeah.
these low calories and you're just like trying to find like the light at the end of the day for like why am I doing this
Why
anymore when
the
my
hell
body's
am I
yeah.
doing this to myself? Yeah.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
gets me through that, even if I
Yeah.
was just, to be honest, some days I treated him like shit because I was just
Yep.
like, bro, like I don't want to pose right now. He's like, you're gonna pose. And I'm like, dude, you don't understand. I'm not fucking posing today. And
Yeah.
he's like, you will pose. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, bro, if that's what it takes for me to leave, then I'm
Yeah.
gonna pose for you.
Okay. So
That's a
he
good
lives in your
coach.
same city or
Yeah, he lives in Austin.
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so you already qualified for the 2026 Olympia?
No, we're about to. Like, it's not going
Okay.
to be hard this year. I can tell you that right now. Like, I'm not trying to be like that guy, but like, man, I didn't miss anything. Like,
Yeah.
I am jacked. Like, I am
Yeah.
huge right now.
Yeah.
It's like,
What
Let's
are your
talk about
stats?
it.
What's your height and weight right now?
yeah, so it's kind of fucking crazy. I woke up this morning and I was 269 and I'm what, like 6 foot and 3/4 an inch. Depends on what show I go to and what, who decides
What
the
they're
height.
gonna me yeah, how they'll
But
measure you. Yeah.
the most of the time I average like 6 foot and a half an inch to like 6 foot and like 3/4 of an inch. So just under 6'1". Um, yeah, I'm
Two
sitting at
269?
269,
Yeah, wow.
269 this morning.
What was
And
your
I'm not
weight
going to
at
sit
the
here and say
Olympia?
I'm shredded, but like, so the Olympia, I think a better representation would be RGV, what I weighed at RGV, because that was my best peak this last year. Um, we lost a little bit of muscle going into the Olympia just because we came off, like I said, like we came off drugs and people don't realize that. And if I guess if people could like watch this far through and like understand like the drugs play such a big role in how you look. Like I'm not gonna sit here and lie, like they
Really
do.
do.
At least for me, because I know there are some genetic freaks who like they look bubbly off the drugs and like it's crazy. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they don't help me like 70, 80%. You
Yeah.
know, I look totally different off drugs than I do on drugs. Like my face, like literally everything changes when I'm on drugs. So it's like, okay. And, there's a lot of them that go into like competing at the Olympia. Like people take a fuck ton of gear at the Olympia, and I'm not going to sit here and
Hmm.
act like they don't. Like I've heard people backstage talking at like pro shows, and like I'm like, dang, if I'm taking this and you're taking that, then like I'm in a good spot. Like that's what I've always told myself. And I think the reason I got so messed up after this last year is because I took so much trying to, make my first time at the Olympia a good, really, really
Yeah.
good experience. And it ended up checking me out early. And now we had
Yeah.
to do all the cleanup work like 10 days out. So I pushed myself as hard as I could, and it definitely like had its
Well, and you just
downside.
sometimes you just don't know where that line is until you've crossed it.
I definitely
So,
crossed it and I'm like, nope,
yeah.
okay, now I know what I can't do. And
Yeah,
it was definitely
exactly.
a lot of like, there was things like I'm not going to sit here and say it was like the coach's fault. Like I'm taking this stuff. Like it's my
Yeah.
job to say, oh man, this is a lot. Like I'm not stupid. I've done this for like 8 years. I know what.
Yeah, but it's such a hard line because it's like you're gonna be uncomfortable. So you're
Right.
like, okay, what level is discomfort of like, okay, I'm like 24 hours from
Yeah.
dying versus I'm being a pussy.
What's
So like,
uncomfortable
Right.
versus
yeah,
dangerous? Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
And I think that the whole experience, it left in like, I finally got over this like 2 months ago, like truthfully, before we started
Hmm.
pushing, before me, Will started pushing. Um, man, like I had this like really weird mental state that I was in for like months after I had that incident. Cause like I literally woke up one morning and I mean, I even texted my old coach and I'm like, dude, I don't know why this is happening. And like he thought it was just like me cheating on my diet or like me taking more drugs than were on the plan or something. And I'm like, dude, truthfully, like that's not what's going on. Like I
Yeah.
would not be texting you one day freaking out. Like this is not like
Yeah.
me,
Well, and you're
you
not
know?
I mean, your coach should know, like an athlete at that level, like we're not
I
cheating on our
don't
diet,
I could
like at
care
this
less
point.
about food.
Like,
I just want to
right.
win. Like
You're
I
right.
just wanted to get to the
Well,
Olympias
like a
more than
coach that
anything.
knows you well knows that like
Yeah.
that's not even playing a role. Like if something
Right.
like 10 pounds heavier in one night and you're close with your athlete, you're like something's fucked up.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
edema on my ankles and like my
Yeah.
sides. I mean, my sides didn't hurt that morning, but like 2 days later, my sides like on my back started to hurt. And that's obviously your kidneys
Kidneys.
area. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was my kidneys or if it was like the heavy deadlifts or what it was, but like man, it did not feel right. And I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm bloated. I have edema. Like I'm 10 pounds up. My lower back hurts in like weird spots that it's never hurt before. I'm like, I'm gonna chill.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyways, it left me
Yeah.
in this mindset where I was like, am I meant for this? Because like I
Yeah.
pushed this cycle that I wouldn't even got to the Olympia yet, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me of when I was 18 because I tore my pec when I was 18 before my first show, and I had to have surgery on it to get it re because it was complete tear. And everybody was like, dude, like you shouldn't do this. Like this isn't like obviously if you're tearing your pec before your first show and people have to compete in like 20 shows, why are you doing this? You're shooting in yourself in the foot before you even start. And I'm like, I started to get into that mindset this last year where I was like maybe I'm like my career was supposed to end
Yeah.
qualifying for the Olympia. Like maybe I'm not supposed to be like one of the top people at the Olympia. And then I'm like, wait, like you know what you can't do now. Like you just learned what not to do. And now
Mm-hmm.
you know exactly what you need to do. So,
Yeah.
and we qualified for the Olympia on, I can promise you I was on less drugs than anybody on stage because we pulled
Mm-hmm.
everything at 10 days out
Yeah.
besides test and mask. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But I think that's like you just said, like you were saying before, like I think so many of like Olympia level or even just like pro level athletes, like they're at some point they're going to deal with something that's going to make them question, like, is this worth it? Am I meant for this? Is my genetics going to allow me to do this? Like
Exactly.
everything. Like it's so funny because I literally just had this conversation with Corey this morning because I said to him, I don't know if you know this, but my fiance is a open bodybuilder. He hasn't turned
Really?
pro yet. He hasn't turned pro
Okay.
yet, but he's a big boy
He's a big old
and
boy.
he's a big old boy and with a lot of potential. And he's just like, it's go time. He's like 24/7. And I'm like, I worry because I don't know, like for him, bodybuilding is who he is. And like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I worry that like, that there's nothing, it's your whole identity. There's nothing outside of bodybuilding. And I'm like, because I'm like a little bit, outsider. And I'm like, that's just like when something comes in to mess up that bodybuilding, it throws off like his whole mental state
Oh
because
yeah.
it's everything, So I'm like, I wonder, like talking with other pros and other top levels, like I feel like you see like Derek Lunsford and Samson and like those guys, and it seems like they have some life outside of bodybuilding. Like
Yeah.
it's not their entire identity, but like I think maybe if it's not now, at some point it was. Because there's just like, especially in classic and open bodybuilding, like the competition, like you were saying, like it's 24/7.
Yeah.
Live, breathe. It is
It gets
steps,
super
it is
hard.
drugs, it's everything.
I think what it comes down, I want to hear your opinion, Heather, in a second, because I think this is like something that everybody kind of goes through because to be a pro, you have to put it in front of everything. Like you realistically have to put it in front of everything else. Unless you're like one of the top five in the Olympia right now, you probably get away with not doing that and still like just
Hmm.
messing around, stepping on stage and like winning. But from my experience, I mean, I've gone through so many like mental like breakdowns and like people don't realize I don't even talk I probably talk about this stuff more, but like I
Hmm.
mean, I have pictures on my phone from like after I won my qualification for the Olympia where I was like, I don't ever cry, like sit there and cry to myself. I was bawling for like hours because
Hmm.
my whole life I've wondered if I was ever going to get to that point and if it was all worth it. And like you said about your husband, it's like um it just becomes overbearing to where it's all you think about. And
Yeah.
there's nights where you sit there and you start tripping balls because you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if this is all worth it. Like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do anything with this. Like is this all a waste of time? And that's like a
A
very
waste of
real thing.
money, worse to like you've given now, you've sacrificed relationships, you've sacrificed thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and like
Right.
so much. And it's like when it's you do have to be obsessed with it, but it's like finding that point, it's like you can still enjoy life. Like, shouldn't you have some life outside of it? But it's like it's tough. It is,
So
especially for an open bodybuilder.
I would counter that, like not counter that because obviously it's important to have balance
Hmm.
outside of this. I'm
Hmm.
not going to sit here and act like it's not, but realistically, for guys, it's very hard to do that. I don't know what it is.
It's
Like I
so
feel like
hard.
it's
Well,
so
even
hard.
like his
And
cycle that he's on right now, he's like, it's literally like he's generally a very friendly, like nice
yeah,
person.
yeah,
And he's just like not that friendly right now. And on his current cycle, it's pretty good amount of compounds. Like,
yeah,
and he's like, I can feel it changing my personality. Like I'm not friendly. And I'm like that affects like your whole life, your relationships, like you're
it
literally
does.
changing your personality for this sport.
I actually hired a psychologist before I started this push because
Oh,
I wanted to make
wow. You're
sure, yeah,
kidding. Wow.
because I wanted to make sure, like, because I just get way too emotional when I'm on a lot of
Mhm.
stuff, and I know me and Will are going to push harder. I've never really pushed super hard on an off season to put on size, but I am right now, and it's obviously like working really well. But I knew that I was, and I do feel a lot different. Like I feel like a totally different person mentally, like the way I approach everything, the way I like respond.
Did
But
you
like
do
I
that
don't
on
think
your own accord or somebody recommended that to you? Or you were just
I
like,
think
I
I
need to
just
have a
reached.
therapist?
I mean, I'll be honest. I struggle with depression and stuff like a lot of guys do.
Hmm.
I just don't really talk about it because I don't want to be like
Hmm.
the guy that like looks like he's talking about it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
But like, I just like, like there's definitely been like months. Like, I mean, yeah, the last half of like after the Olympia, I was depressed to be honest. Like, I was super
Mhm.
depressed for like probably until like I mean, probably until like early December, mid-December. It's like October all the way to like December, pretty much. I was like not in a good headspace because I was just like, I felt like I let myself down because I was not even like 70, 60, 70% at the Olympic. Like it was such a bad look for me in my head. And people are like, "Oh, you look so good. You look so great." And like even my fiance was like, "You should be so proud of yourself." And I'm like, yeah, like I know I should be proud of
Yeah.
myself because I got here, but this is not me. Like this is not like who I
Hmm.
know I can show up as. Like,
Yep.
and Will knew that too, and he knew that I wasn't very happy with like how I looked, but he knew that obviously it wasn't in our control. And I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like even my mind started to wander, like, oh, is this the right fit for coaching? Because like, and like I just started to question if I even should be doing the sport at all. And I'm like, wow, like maybe, I did my first Olympia and like all these people who I just envisioned myself next to like the whole year, I was on a whole different call out then. And I think
Mm.
that's what really hurt me is like standing on like the sidelines and like knowing that I didn't look great and knowing that I was gonna be fourth or fifth call outs, but not like admitting it to myself before it happened. And then like literally seeing like all these people that I like imagined, like compared myself to all year, just like
Well,
get
I think
second
too
call
for
out.
you, what actually adds, I'm sure, an extra element to it is you did get a lot of social media clout like pretty early on.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of social, like just, I think
Social
some
pressure.
guys just aren't on social media and like
Yeah.
people started comparing you to like C-Bum very early on. So how could
Yeah.
that not like fuck with your head? Like
Right.
you're just turned pro and like people are saying you're the next C-Bum. Like, so that pressure has always been on you, like from the beginning, you know?
I gotta say something about this because this is something that like if there's any younger dudes watching this, which I'm gonna repost all this and make sure they
Mm,
do. And if you could clip this, this would probably be very smart for like a reel. But like honestly, people do not talk about how when you push for hype and you push for clout when you're younger, how much that screws you when you're older. And like, let me tell you right now, like I would find the right lighting for all my pictures. I'd make sure there's crazy down lighting, make sure I look nuts because I wanted that instant gratification when I was like 16, 17, 18. And like, yeah, I looked crazy in those pictures. But I'm not gonna lie and sit here and tell you that I look like that in person. Like I looked completely different in person than I did in all those pictures. And what these younger kids don't realize is like whether they're competing or not, that matters when you see somebody in, especially if your physique is what you're promoting, whatever you're promoting, if it looks lesser or worse than it does online when somebody sees you in person, they immediately don't look at you the same. They're like, oh,
mm,
it's just fake. It's hyped. You know what I mean? And like that's what
mhm,
happened to me at Junior USA's. I like hyped up my whole prep and I was
mhm,
like taking pictures and like the perfect down lighting and like making sure I had a pump in every single picture. Like even like the mirror pictures that I took at my house, I was like getting a pump before I took them because I wanted to make look bigger and like contort my waist and all this
mhm,
stuff to like make sure it looks good. And I got fourth call outs at my first national show. And it was like people were like, you're gonna go pro, you're gonna be the first like I was going to be like, the youngest pro at the time. And it was like this whole
mhm.
thing. And like Bodybuilders and Outboarders was posting me, all this stuff. And then, I was like depressed
Yeah.
for like 6 months until nationals. So don't
Yeah.
hype
But
yourself
but
up.
there's always been that hype for you, like whether
Yeah.
it was like to turn pro or now then going to the Olympia, like people are kind of already like put you on this pedestal and you're
I
like
guess, yeah, you're
trying to
right.
put yourself there. It's like even in your mind, you just said like what I pictured, the guys I pictured myself standing next to, like why am I not next to those guys, you know? So
Yeah.
When there's so many people too, one, Photoshop is a very real thing, and that's why you tell
oh
people over and over again, like, don't pay any
So bad.
attention to the way anybody else looks until you're on stage. I mean, Jessica Reyes Photoshops her stage photos. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's out
yeah.
there, it's real.
What
But
was that
two,
wellness girl? That Yarnisha or whatever, Yanisha or what was her name?
oh,
She
the
got,
Doranth girl
yeah,
that
she,
Mm,
like
she,
won her
She was
first
with,
pro
yeah, she
show
was
and
with Kim Odo. And I remember Kim Odo posted one picture and she posted another picture and
the
they were
edited picture.
completely
Yeah.
different. And she didn't
oh,
know Kim posted it for like 2 days and then like Goob covered it. It was like this whole thing.
Hmm.
I love Goob. I love his
Yeah.
videos.
Me and Goob
Um,
are actually pretty good friends. It's kind of
yeah.
funny.
I would love to meet him in person. Be like,
He's
hey,
so
big
fun.
fan. Nice to meet
He's
you.
like the nicest guy ever. People think he's so terrible, but he's actually like,
No.
No.
Anybody that knows real, I would
yeah,
never take him as
Mhm.
anything but nice. And like a lot
Yeah.
of what he's doing is not to be a hater. He's trying to bring light to the people that are looking up to these people that are
Hmm.
photoshopping like severely and stuff like that. And so, and I think it even speaks to the mental aspect of this sport. Not only are we super, super hard on ourselves, and it can come off as vanity, but when you're judged on your physique, it's not like I'm just trying to
yeah,
build the
Like that's a
uniform.
100% mental. You can't say any like Jessica Padilla, like, is a perfect example. Like, she is the top figure physique in the world, like
Yeah.
one of the like top five consistently, like 40 shows, and still to her mind, that's not good enough.
It
Right.
just shows you,
So
and that
yeah,
is so true. Like it shows
yeah,
you, like, I mean, there's pictures that you know how it is. You know how the whole prep saying where you see pictures that you take in the mirror on prep and you hate them in the moment, and then you look back 3 months later after the show's on, you're like, I looked like that, like holy crap, and that's so real. Like when
so
people try to
real.
overcomplicate it, like, oh, is it real? It's like, yes, it's real. Like you
Yeah.
definitely don't think you look good. It's the
And
No,
it's
drugs.
not even like, it's literally not even like a little bit, it's like a
it's
lot.
bad. Yeah.
Yes,
It's
it's like
Body
the
literally
end of
like
the
a
dysmorphia.
lot.
world.
The body dysmorphia is so hard in this sport because, and again, it doesn't matter even, like I'm good friends with Andrea Shaw. Like she was
Mhm.
nervous going into the Olympia. Like she had to get off of social media because people are sending her pictures of Ashley Ivy. People are sending her pictures of Angie, and she's like, I can't have this. Like you're distracting me from my goal, because I'm
Well,
trying to
people don't
focus on
have
what I need.
filters also these days. Like people don't have filters. It's insane that, like, I mean, some of the conversations I've had, like, and they get worse every year. It's like as long as social media grows, these conversations get worse. And I mean, I've had people send me pictures of other competitors and say like, you aren't shit. Like it's like crazy. And I'm like, you really went out of your way to like go send me this? Like you don't think I'm already like in my head about this
That's
person?
wild.
Like,
And I would say it's worse for men, but in other
oh
times
no,
I
I think
don't
it's the
think because I see
same.
it a lot with the women getting called like masculine and really hated on
Mhm.
for
Oh, I
their
mean,
like
Emily.
femininity.
Yeah, like when
Mhm.
Emily did when she won.
Emily gets that crap too. Like
Well, when she was with Cameron, she was peeled.
I would say
And
she's like
people,
super
yeah, people
feminine.
exactly, like people don't know the difference between being shredded and being
Right.
on a bunch of drugs. Because
Yeah.
girls, they and guys too, but girls especially, they get that super chiseled face. They get like you guys
Yeah.
look way. I guess you guys look like you're on drugs more when you're not even
Hmm.
on drugs when you're shredded.
Yeah.
And people
Hmm.
automatically assume it's more masculine because it looks more masculine.
Hmm.
But honestly, I don't think it does. Like I don't personally think it bothers. Like
Well,
I've never
people
looked at a girl.
associate like curves with femininity though. So like, I definitely when you look more jacked, even when you're shredded, but
Right.
like I'm like, bro, I'm 120 pounds. Like I'm not,
Yeah.
how is this masculine? Like,
I have to sit on a pillow on my couch
yeah,
or
Yeah.
I
And
get
it's like I
sciatic
still have a
pain.
pretty face. Like my
yeah,
face has not changed.
exactly.
Like what do you I don't know. It's just weird. I think girls,
Well,
yeah.
and
Now that you
also
say that,
like
girls
we
get a lot
age
worse.
too. I mean, that's like the other thing. Like you can't compare like you're comparing athletes from like 10 years ago, like when you're 20 versus 30 or 30 when
Right.
you're 40, like your face actually is going to change even when you're not on steroids. Like
When I think
you
too,
change.
a
Yeah.
lot of the a lot of the hate is not coming from other athletes.
Oh
It's
No,
God,
it's
coming
no.
coming
from
people.
these
Yeah.
like fat trolls that just sit
No,
behind their keyboard
literally. It's
and
keyboard
hate on
warriors.
people. And I am like, I've gotten very comfortable just blocking people. Like I don't
Yeah.
really entertain it at all but I'll be honest with you, I don't, I think maybe I've had two people ever comment on my femininity. And
Mm.
Really.
like, I've just been very,
Well,
very fortunate.
you're very girly girl too, and
Yeah, you
you
are really
really
girly,
haven't
especially
had
the
any
way you go around
virilization. So
posting. Yeah,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
very feminine too. Yeah.
yeah.
So I've been very fortunate, but I see it. Like I saw
Hmm.
your comment on Melissa Broski's
That
somebody was
shit pissed
hating
me
on
off.
her and you were like, troll much? It's
Like
Yeah.
I no, that person was like they're just, I don't understand what, let people do them. You want to do this? You want to like be a gigantic fat ass and just sit on your ass and be sedentary and do nothing. Like I literally don't care. Do whatever
Yeah.
you want to do. If Mel wants to, like, if she doesn't care if her voice is like,
a little
deep
deeper.
and
Yeah.
it's worth it for her to have muscle, like, is that for me? No, but do I give a fuck that that's what she wants? No, I don't. Like, of course, there's a certain level of muscularity and what I'm willing to sacrifice for me, but I don't care that other people want to like
Right.
do
Everybody
them.
has their lines, and
That's
then
what,
Well,
there's
also
nothing
like
wrong with that.
from a guy's perspective, like I have never really understood the whole like voice thing because there's girls that literally have a deep voice naturally. Like people don't realize, like, look at Layla Harmozy. Do you know who she is?
Mm-mm.
You ever
mm-mm.
heard of her? She's, Alex Hormozy, the guy who does all like the online sales and stuff. He's like super, anyways, his
Oh,
wife is
oh
like,
yeah, Alex, and that they're like
yeah,
billionaires for like no reason at all. And his wife
yes,
is like the dark
exactly.
hair. She gets hated on for her voice a lot.
But she never took anything. Like she's
Hmm.
completely natural. And it's like people
Yeah.
don't realize that it's like mean, she looks, no offense, she's like a stick. Like she
Yeah.
clearly hasn't taken anything and she just has a low voice. Like you go back to her old posts like 10, 12 years ago, her voice is the same. And it's
Yeah.
like, why are you like, why does that matter? Like there's going to be a guy who doesn't care that's going to
It's
be able
just
to like,
crazy, like that whole thing, like that, just like, and I actually comment on that too, and I'm like, I would compare Mel's blood work against like 90% of Americans. Like, I guarantee you, even
yes.
on a full cycle of gear, that woman is more healthy. Like, are you getting 10,000 steps a day? Are you weighing and measuring every fucking piece of food that you put into your mouth? Are you getting 10 hours of sleep at night? Like, no, you're not. Like,
Like
how many supplements
McDonald's.
do we take? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm taking like 50 different supplements for my
No,
organs every
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I do
Like,
like fucking 10 pins every morning. I have like
okay,
10 different insulin syringes, not 10, but like I feel like I have 10 different insulin syringes and I have like a ton of pills.
now
But it's
with all
like
the peptides too. It's
I
like
feel
the little,
amazing. Like I
yeah.
feel great.
Mhm.
Like I feel great and I'm performing better than I ever have in my entire life. So it's like it's dope. I'm gonna go to the restroom real fast. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Somebody was like, steroids aren't healthy. And I'm like, neither is like eating chips and being fat and not getting off your ass all day. Like,
Yeah.
it makes absolutely zero sense.
Well,
And
and
especially females, like, yeah, okay, yes, there's risk involved in being a professional athlete. Like, are we going to talk to LeBron about the risks involved that he takes? What about professional football players? They're like
so
having brain injuries.
I'm gonna kind of segue off of this into like a similar topic, but I want us to talk about it a little bit. And Austin touched on this when he was 10 days out and feeling so poorly, and he felt his body basically shutting down on him. Is like, yes, most athletes at that level are performance enhancing, but
Mhm.
at the same time, especially now in this day and age, we're seeing the peptide realm getting more and more health focused. We're actually seeing bodybuilding, I think, take a huge shift more towards the health side of things, especially on the
Absolutely.
men's side.
Hmm.
But I'm seeing a lot of women's drug protocols that are astronomically unhealthy for
Hmm.
anybody for any duration of time. Like women have no business taking tren, and I'm
Hmm.
seeing it happen. And so, to touch on what
What
Austin
division
said,
are they in taking trend? Like, so is this only
wellness,
women body? Wow.
wellness,
Wow.
It works very well,
wellness.
unfortunately.
Yep.
Austin's like, yes, I prescribed it 3 times this week.
I mean, it is. It's very common. And, having a coach that knows how to monitor those things and dose them appropriately is super important. But as we've seen, there are a lot of coaches that don't know how to do any of that.
Well, and you know
But
what I think the biggest problem is with that, Heather, is I truly think that at least these competitors who aren't like an IFBB pro yet or like, pro level yet or even like national level yet, they get into this and they know like they're not stupid. They know there's drugs involved, but they don't understand how extreme it gets very fast, especially as a female. Um, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything about female because I don't really coach female. I have like a few females on my roster. If they want to be coached by me, that's awesome. But I mainly prioritize the men. But like, it is crazy how much more aggressive it is than people understand. Like, they know there's drugs. Oh, I'll have to take tests. Maybe I'll have to take some like, I don't even know what these wellness girls run these days. It seems like I've seen T-ball fucking trend. Like, I've seen stuff that I would never even imagine a girl taking like same as me. And I'm just like, this is wild. So I just don't think these girls and even the guys understand like the level of genetics it takes, how much gear they're gonna have to push to look like these people that they idolize, and the ramifications of that and the cost of that. It's like it's just so much risk that people don't realize to make such a simple decision like, oh, I'm just gonna start bodybuilding. It's like, no, no, no. Like you don't just start bodybuilding. Like it's like a
yeah.
whole lifestyle. Like you literally have to 180 everything.
Yeah. And you have those people that are genetic that can truly compete every year. I
Yeah.
cannot.
Hmm.
I cannot grow that fast. I know that I need to compete every other year or I can't put on any valuable tissue. But I also know I have hard lines on what drugs I'm willing to do and what drugs I'm not. I'm married. My husband
Hmm.
is not a competitor. He's not a bodybuilder of any kind. He does not understand mood
Yeah.
fluctuations or if I'm emotionally absent to him, that's almost like a punishment to him. He
Hmm.
Yeah.
doesn't feel loved. He doesn't understand that
Right.
I'm miserable because he doesn't know what that feels like. And
That's
so,
deep. I never thought about that. I've never been
I
in a
I
relationship
know what
like
that
that.
feels like, and I still don't love it that
yeah,
much. I
but
don't
like,
enjoy it.
and
I
I
don't love it.
had a really big wake up moment after my preps this year, and it was because like I'm not an a-hole. Like I don't really I would have told you my personality is not any different. Like, why are
Hmm.
you complaining? But now that I'm on the other side, I have a little bit more body fat, I have a little bit more energy. Like I am a lot more loving with him than I am in
Hmm.
prep. And so as someone with a partner that is not in this lifestyle, that can't just say, oh, she's just super tired and depleted. He doesn't know what that feels like. And so he gets almost resentful of me competing. Um, and so I have to like negate some of that with not competing every year, but also I need the time to grow. But two, now because I have actually like looked over it myself and said, you know what? I
Hmm.
have now realized that I do change in prep and like I am almost snappy. Even though I don't feel snappy in my heart, it does come
Hmm.
out as a lot more harsh of a tone to him. And he's a sensitive guy. So, or he was raised with a very narcissistic mother. So he's very like reactive
Hyper
to my
aware.
emotions and the way that I
Yeah.
am. And so I think it will be better next time that I prep because I've self-reflected enough to realize that I actually am going to have to be a lot more mindful and I'm going to
Yeah.
have to make sure that I have enough energy for him.
Mm.
And even if it's emotional energy. And so,
Yeah.
you know, there's certain drugs that I know that I'm not going to be able to take or I'm going to end up divorced. And so all those things have to come into play. And at the end of the day, there is such a thing as longevity in this sport. And if you
Hmm.
take too much too early, one, you're over saturating your receptors. You're losing a lot of progress because your body can only progress so much in a certain period of time. And two, like at what cost? At what cost to the
Yeah.
relationships around you?
Right.
What cost to
Yep.
your own being? Like take a longer off season. You don't need the harsh drugs. You need to learn how to train and
Mm.
put that time into the gym, and use performance enhancing. And I see this a ton in my line of work. You get people that are like, well, what can I take? No, that's not the question. The question is, what do I need to be doing
Right.
to get here? And the answer isn't always more drugs or higher doses. Sometimes it's just more time.
Yeah. And
But
maybe being honest. Yeah.
there
Go
are
ahead,
people that
Austin.
like no matter what you say, that's all they're gonna think. Like they're
Mhm.
gonna be like, oh, there's definitely a drug that they're taking. I'm like, you guys don't really. My first cycle ever for my first show was more extreme than any of the cycles up until like literally when I turned pro. Like that was like that's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? And I progressed every year in like size
Mm.
and I looked better on stage. I mean, almost every year that whole time. And that was 5 years. So it's like in 5 years, my heaviest cycle, until I turned pro was my first cycle.
Right.
And I made more progress after that first cycle. Like it just doesn't, you don't need a ton. You really don't need a ton. And it's like, how much more do I need to break this plateau? It's like, do I even need more drugs or is it,
Yeah.
do I need more food or do I need
Right. I was
more,
just
like,
gonna say,
more
like, are
resting?
you eating your food? Are you
Yeah.
eating all of your food? Are you never missing a meal? Are you sleeping? Are you
Oftentimes,
training
yeah,
hard with intention and intensity?
you
Probably
nailed
not.
you
Yeah.
nailed it.
But
So,
oh, sorry, go ahead, Heather.
no, I'm going to segue us. So if you want to continue on this topic,
No,
you
I
better
just
say
wanted to ask
it.
Austin, just because we were you were touched on how it kind of affects your relationship. I know you have a beautiful fiance, and just wanted to talk about like and she's also a bodybuilder. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
just talking
She's
about
also a
like
pro bodybuilder.
right, how that has affected y'all's relationship and like maybe how it benefits and what are some challenges
And do you
of
prefer to prep at the same time or
right.
separate?
I'm gonna answer all these real fast. This
Hmm.
is actually like we've had sit down conversations about this stuff because I think it's super important.
Mhm.
Like we have sit down conversations about like I don't know, I didn't even realize that we do this, but like every big decision we actually like I feel like that's how it should be. We sit down and like have a conversation about it. We've
Hmm.
literally talked about these things and like, I remember when we did our pro debut together and we were like do we want to compete together? Or we literally had a whole conversation like, do we want to do it together? Or do you want to go first, I go second, or I go first, you go second? Obviously, if somebody makes it to the Olympiad, then we'll go support that person, or if both of us make it, we'll go there together. That's been a conversation at the beginning of every year, and every single time we found that it works best when we prep together. And the reason for that is because we can manage each other on cycle. Like it's not like obviously she takes stuff too, but it's like we can manage each other and we understand how each other works on cycle. Like I've had to do a lot of personal development and a lot of personal work because she's great on cycle. Like truthfully, she doesn't really, she just gets quiet. It's and like
Hmm.
I used to think that was a bad thing. I used to think she was like ignoring me or something. But
Hmm.
now after time and doing enough preps together,
Hmm.
I,
Well, just you
understand.
maturing in the relationship and as a man. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I understand that, maybe she just like needs to like talk and she doesn't want me to talk back. Like she just wants to like me to listen to her. So I'll just like listen to her as much as like obviously I'm not perfect, but like most of the time we can get out of arguments if they even start within like 5 minutes and we're good, which is I feel like really good for bodybuilding. But the reason we like it prepping together is because we're not really worried about the time on prep. We're worried about the rest of the year. Like, what are we going to do the rest of the year? Am I going to be watching you prep and watch you miserable,
Right.
which kind of makes me miserable, like, or
It
are we going
allows
to
y'all
be
to have
miserable?
date nights and go out to eat together, and you're
Yeah,
not always having to accommodate someone in the
yeah,
relationship. You
that's
can
Yeah.
truly be a couple, and then you can truly prep together. That's what I would
Yeah.
prefer.
You have literally like
that's the best way to do
nothing.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. It really, I agree. Like
You
we
can
had a whole
see,
year without, his birthday's in February and that was our last date because I was on prep until August and then he started his prep in July.
oh,
So
oh yeah,
his
that's
went
rough.
through December. So we literally we had a date in February and then, I mean, we went like, you did some things, but basically like I said, you don't feel like doing shit. So
Yeah,
it's really just not fun if you don't prep around the same time. It's a
yeah.
lot of time that you're in prep. It's not like a month or two. It's like usually like 4 or 5 months. So if you don't do it together, it's a huge chunk of time.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pressure. Like, you spent your
Hmm.
whole like last year, 2 years getting ready for this prep. And it's like a big deal. And like I think the biggest thing that we took out of it was, like I said earlier, I had a lot of internal work to do before I was comfortable being on prep with her. Like, because I was just like, I've never been a good person on prep until like the last 2 years. I feel like a lot of guys are like this, even though they don't admit it.
Hmm.
We just get very like I get, at least me, for example, like if my trend is above like 300, I can't hang. I can't hang.
Hmm.
And if it's like if somebody does something, I'm pissed all day. Like that's just,
Hmm.
but I realize that's who I am. Like I can't change that. It's not that I'm a negative person. Like I feel like I'm a very positive person throughout the day, like off
Hmm.
drugs and even on like lower drugs. But as soon as that trend comes in, I get a little bit more agitated. And as soon as it gets 300 or more, I'm just like, I'm not cool. Like we actually, the highest I got up to this last prep after I hired Will, when we added it back in before the Olympia, because we tried to push a little bit after I knew I was kind of healthy into Olympia. We added in like 70 milligrams to tren. And even that, I was like, bro, I'm not even going to run this. This isn't even, because I just
Hmm.
don't feel like confident. Like it automatically starts messing with my head. But I had to do a lot of internal work to make sure that we could be on prep together. She's been pretty chill the entire time. But it just works. It just works. And like, on the off season, you end up living your life with that person and just kind of getting it all out together before you have to prep again. And it's just kind of like it's like a season. It like comes in seasons
Yeah.
like, oh, we can fat together and then, oh, we can be shredded together. That's kind of the way we look at it.
Yeah. But then there's special challenges of like the off season too. Like when you're this heavy, it's also like, okay, now my fucking joints are aching. Like
Yeah.
I think like the intimate part of bodybuilding when you're fucking
Oh, yeah.
massive, like I don't think people talk too much about that. Like, you know,
It's not fun.
it's
Yeah.
not
It's
as
not
fun as it
fun.
should be. Honestly, you
No,
think it
it's
should be
not fun at
super
all.
fun,
Yeah. I
but
feel like a whale.
your body fucking hurts, especially when you're a tiny woman and you're gigantic. Like it doesn't feel always the greatest.
No, it doesn't.
But no, there's just like things like that that no, like the off season comes with a whole set of challenges
It's like
than
a whole
as prep.
different,
Yeah.
yeah, you could literally make like a book on the off season and like a book
Hmm.
on prep. And you could literally fill the whole book full of
Hmm.
random
But
shit.
that's
Like,
why it is so, no matter what, it is, I just feel like if you do not have, whether they're a bodybuilder or not a bodybuilder, they have to be the most supportive person in the world and want to see you win more than anything in life. Like
yeah.
you have to truly want that person to win because it's a very self-centered sport, like it or
Oh
not,
yeah.
it is. So
The last thing I'll say is we did actual, I know she didn't, but I actually have always been very competitive and it's with everybody. It doesn't matter
mm,
if they're my sister, my mom,
you're
my
white.
fiance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was when we first started competing and she went pro, I felt it wasn't necessarily jealousy, I would say. It was more so like an outrageous amount of pressure to be
Yeah.
the man and to lead from the front. And I was like, man, like she won the overall and went pro. That's a lot. Like that's a lot to live up to. Like that's a fucking huge accomplishment. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, I got to do this too. And so I did it. And I think after that, I'm like, wow, like we're both the way we went pro, we went in the overall. I think that's a huge reason we're able to do this together is because it's
Mhm.
like we both know that we didn't just like go pro kind of, we fucking
Mhm.
went pro. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we literally went
Yeah.
pro. And I think that kind of helps us a little bit. And like,
But
everybody kind
how
of looks at
inspiring
us.
was that to you though? I was like, that's our exact situation. So I won the overall and then I went pro and Corey hasn't. And it was always kind of like expected that he would turn pro before me. But he has actually complimented me. One of the biggest compliments is he said that watching me prep and then win the overall and turn pro it's his biggest inspiration in life. And
Oh,
that
100%.
inspires him more than anything, seeing that and that like he's competitive, but also it's like an inspired competitiveness. Like
I would
he has
say
that.
Yeah, I would say that her turning pro and winning the overall wasn't necessarily like the most inspirational thing. I mean, it was
Mhm.
motivating to me, but it was more so her seeing, dude, she is the most consistent person,
Yep.
like way more than me.
Yep.
That is what motivates me
Yep.
because I'm like,
Yep.
man, until I'm doing things like Emily, I can't really
Yeah.
complain, you know?
Yeah.
Because
That's
like she's
literally exactly
literally,
verbatim
yeah,
what Corey, he's like, I saw you, like, you never missed a beat. He's like, and I
never.
realized in that moment, like, he's very consistent, but he's like, I realized when I saw you never miss a beat that I needed to set my fucking game up.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
I
It's
like that.
cool. Yeah.
I
Well,
want to talk about follistatin.
yeah.
Oh, I knew this was gonna happen. I love follistatin.
Oh, do
So
you? Yeah, we
we're,
went. Corey started it today.
yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yep, he
Um,
sure did.
so the reason I want to talk about this is because we're talking about drug protocols in the off season to help you grow. And I want to note that there are more and more peptides coming out that are so much healthier for you that can really help you put on size without the detriment to your health. And so we have put Austin on a little bit of follistatin. Just what it does is unlock, it's basically like taking the governor off your skeletal muscle. So I want to talk about your experience with it because it's been like, I mean, it's been like 2, 3 months now on it, right?
Three. I've been on it for 3 solid months. Yeah. And
Oh
yeah,
wow, 3 months.
I mean, it's been great. I mean, do you
How
want me
long
to
can
go
you
into it
stay
right
on
now or do you want to
follistatin,
talk
Heather?
about it a little more?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So, okay. So the first things first, you'll see a lot of different things online about like follistatin. Like we have legit follistatin 344. Like it's like the actual you
From the
can't get
pharmacy.
anything more. Yeah, it's legit. So before you see all these negative reviews online about people saying it's not legit, it's not real, they're not getting pharma grade real follistatin because I can promise you it's real. So I wasn't on cycle, and I told Heather this. I wasn't on cycle when we started it. It was almost like a precursor. I looked at it as kind of like GH. That's how I looked at it. It's like if I because I
Mm.
always like to front load. I'm not on GH right now. That's how well it works. So I literally I always look at GH as I'm going to front load this before my cycle because you want to get it in your system for myoplasma and stuff like that before you actually start the cycle. So the anabolics can build those new muscle cells that GH build. But you have to be on GH for a certain amount of time to actually have that happen. So I wanted to let it compound. So we did the same thing with follistatin. I started my actual cycle about 2 months ago. So we let the follistatin build up for about a month. And even before I saw my, before I started my cycle, I was just like, what? I kept texting Heather. I was like, this is insane. You might drop some of my messages if you make this like a reel or something. But I was like, this is absolutely insane. My strength, like being on TRT, because I was pretty much on TRT at the time. Usually you have a decline in strength after the show when you're on TRT or like it stays still or something. My strength went through the roof. I was like, holy cow, this is almost kind of scary. It was almost to the point where I was like, I don't think I told you this, but I was like almost had to like let myself chill from like PRing because like every single week. I mean, my squat was
Wow.
at like yeah, my squat was at like a 5 plates for like 6 when I started it. And I mean, it went up to like 12 within like 2 to 3 weeks of starting it. And I was just squatting once a week and it was just one top set. Literally, I would just do one top set just to gauge my strength. I would warm up and do feeder sets, but it was like the way I gauged it was T-bar rows, deadlifts, and squats. I did those three things because I wanted to see how strong I got at those. And all of them just like it was insane how fast I was progressing on them. And that was
Wow.
before I started my cycle. And actually, once I started my cycle, which I'll be transparent, I'm running EQ and test. That's literally it right now.
Mhm.
Um, outside of like the peptides that I'm running. But um, when I started this cycle, keep in mind EQ doesn't really even kick in for, I mean, months sometimes. So it's like pretty much just the testosterone in my system, if that's even kicked in yet. Within those first 3 weeks of the cycle, on top of taking the follistatin for that month prior and still having the follistatin in, I was just like, honestly, maybe I'm progressing too fast. Like I had to actually stop PRing as much and stop like pushing the weight because like I was like, man, like I feel like I'm gonna hurt myself because that's how strong it is. So
Yeah.
it's actually like it's not even close to what people are saying online. Like, oh, I don't know if it works or not. It worked so well for me that like I honestly had to take a chill pill from like lifting heavy because I was like worried about hurting myself because I was growing so fast. Um, I felt bigger literally every day, especially the first 4 weeks I was on it. It was insane. I felt noticeably bigger. And this, I'm not saying this to like brag, but like this is my first off season where my chest feels heavy, like super heavy, like I'm stacking muscle on my chest and like my
Full. Yeah.
shoulders. Like my traps are huge right now. It's just like it's dense muscle. It's not like I don't know how to explain it.
Water. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm the same body composition I've been in previous off seasons,
Hmm.
but I'm like 10 pounds heavier. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is
It's
insane.
solid. It's not watery. Yeah.
My
No, it's not.
favorite
It
text
doesn't
I
really
got
feel.
was, I've never been this big and lean at this weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
insane. It does also help with body fat. Like I've noticed it helps a ton
Hmm.
with body fat. I'm not on a super high dose, I don't think. I mean, some people are taking like a whole freaking bottle, like 1 milligram every week, which is
No, not
absurd. I
necessary.
do
We have
not
you kind
recommend
of,
that.
we almost are microdosing you, but not really.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I think too, the reason that you stayed so lean, other than, discipline and work ethic, was the BAM 15. Because
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, our cycle that we were on was perfect. Like right after the Olympia or whenever we started that whole like we got everything in at once and we started that was insane. Like I think what you can like correct me, but I think we were on the SS31,
mhm.
we were on N80 plus, or we hadn't started at the time. I think maybe we did, but we were on SS31, follistatin. We were on thymosin, alpha thymosin or
I
yet?
sent you thymosin alpha with follistatin because I'm inserting this really quick. Follistatin can down-regulate the immune system, and so it can make some
Hmm.
people feel sickly. And so the
Yeah.
thymosin alpha was there for your immune system support with the
Wow. See, I've
follistatin.
never felt that,
Gotcha.
so that worked. I never felt
Yeah.
sick at all. I honestly felt great, like really
Yeah.
great. And I'm not
So
sure,
you're
like,
not on the follistatin anymore? The cycle's over?
no, I'm still on it.
Oh, you are. Gotcha.
Yeah,
How
I'm
long
still
do
on
you
it.
stay on follistatin for?
So, I mean, I'm
How long do
probably
you run
just
it
gonna do
for,
like
Heather?
3 months. Probably gonna
Okay.
do 3 to 4 months and then come off because it does have like, from what I've heard, it has recurring effects for a long time after
Yeah.
you come off of it.
Hmm.
So I'm excited to see that. But if there's like literally there's like no negatives. The only thing that I noticed, and we fixed it with telmisartan, is I had a slight increase in blood pressure. And like I'm slightly red, but like my blood pressure isn't actually high. Like when I test my blood pressure, it's normal. I just appear more red. And like if that's not like something that bothers you, then that's fine. But like I'm also running, I mean, like 1,000 milligrams of test and like 600 milligrams of EQ. Like I'm running a big cycle right now for like my off season.
Hmm.
So,
That redness also could have come from BAM because it does heat up your body temperature.
okay, that makes
Like a
sense. Yeah.
flushing?
Because
Yeah.
BAM acts very similar to DNP. Like it's a
Yeah.
mitochondrial
I love
incumbler.
that. I
Okay.
loved BAM. When we were on BAM, I felt no side effects from that whatsoever.
I
And I
would
mean,
love
it
to
was
see how
just,
it compares to clenbuterol, like in a
well, I
prep
would like
setting.
to run that in a prep setting instead of Clen. That's what I would like to do.
We can do
Because
it.
Clen, I feel terrible on Clen. I feel absolutely terrible. Like I get headaches. I get cramps in the
Hmm.
gym, even when I'm taking like all my sodium for the day, like what I need to take, I get cramps in the gym. Um, I mean, when I used to take Clen with Anavar in the past, I don't take Anavar anymore at all. But like when I used to take Anavar and Clen together on a prep, oh my gosh, the cramps in the gym were just terrible.
Do you take
But
taurine?
I take two grams of taurine a day. Yeah, I take one in the morning and one at night. That seems to keep all the cramps away. But that cycle we were on was perfect. Like it was literally perfect. I know we switched something. I say it was because we
Took
switched
out
some
BAM and went to SLU,
out. Yeah, slew, and then we also switched the SS31 to MOTS-C.
MOTS-C.
But I mean, I feel great. I feel great. The tesamorelin, um, I don't think I had ever taken that before. I think I had taken no, I told you I took it for like 2 or 3 weeks before in the past, but it wasn't long enough to really see the effects of it. Man, the tesamorelin, That might be one of my favorite peptides as
It's my
well.
favorite peptide. It
Mhm.
is,
Holy
I call
cow.
it the goat. Like it is one, it's going to keep your cholesterol super, super clean. Like we had a guy who had a cardiac arrest as a patient because he bought what he thought was Anadrol offline. And it was cocaine. And he's been on Tessamorelin for, yeah,
Oof.
pure cocaine, um,
Oh my
for
gosh.
6 months. And
Insane.
they did a heart cath on him because he had a cardiac arrest. Coronaries were clean, perfectly clean.
Wow.
Um, I actually, after, before I did my like health phase blood work, I
Yeah.
came off all of my OTC supplements. Like I came off my vitamin D, I came off B12, I came off my nattokinase,
Yeah.
anything that I felt was supporting my health markers. I was like, I want to see what this peptide does without all of that. Cholesterol was perfect. Liver enzymes were normal, even with training. Like it's incredible. And that's where you're
Wait,
going
so
to get
your liver
longevity.
enzymes were good? Your liver enzymes were good without a rest day, even with training? Dude, that's crazy because when I get mine done after, actually, no, that's actually, it makes total sense because when I got my lab work for Will before the push, I sent it to you. It was like the inflammatory markers were absolutely insane. Like they were perfect.
Mhm.
And I hadn't obviously after what I went through on prep, I expected my ALT, AST to be like, honestly, I was like, if this comes back at like 200, 300 plus, I would not be surprised. And it was nowhere near that. It was
Yeah.
almost right at the reference range. And I'm like, that's crazy for right after the Olympia. Like pushing for months, come off and like be on this peptide for what, 2 weeks at the time. And it has that big of an effect. That's crazy. Because that's like
Yeah.
if your ALT and AST is high, I mean, that's like dietary changes and like that's like so many changes you have to make and like wait for like 3 months to see positive outlook on blood work after that. And like to do that in 2 weeks is pretty crazy. I couldn't imagine like running that all the way through the entire prep. That would have been like, imagine how like you'd be able to just get on cycle after the show.
Well, and the good thing too about tesamorelin is its reduction in visceral adipose tissue.
Oh, I
So
noticed that. I
you
noticed
don't
that a
develop
lot.
that like stubborn brown fat in your belly. Like
Yeah.
I can gain 20 pounds after a show and I'll still have veins in my abs. Like
Yeah.
like I just
Mhm.
don't store fat there anymore. It's just really, really remarkable.
Yeah.
I do always tell people, so if anybody does try this, and you can take it through prep, but you're gonna want to pull it out about 2 weeks before your show because it is a growth hormone secretagogue. It's going to make you hold some water and it takes time to clear because the difference in GH and a secretagogue is growth hormone. You're giving the body the hormone. It's really quick. It's very short acting and you have to take it multiple times a day. Whereas a peptide is stimulating your pituitary gland. So you're already going to get those natural pulsatiles of growth hormone throughout the day that your body's doing. It's just going to be in excess. But because it is a slow, gentle rev up of that pituitary gland, it takes a good 2 to 3 weeks for you to start seeing those benefits, but it lasts in the system for a good 2 to 3 weeks after you come off of it because the pituitary gland will just slowly downregulate back to normal. But then you don't get any of that GH crash that you get coming off of growth hormone.
So I told you this. I was on 4 IUs of Serostim. I mean, I'm not going to say it's as
Mhm.
good as 4 IUs of Serostim because like, I know there's going to be a bunch of haters, but I mean, I couldn't notice a freaking difference. I will be honest. I could not
Mhm.
notice a difference, to be honest with you. And it's crazy to say that out loud because I've spent so much money on Serostim kits. You know how it is, 800, 900 bucks sometimes to get a
Oh
kit.
gosh.
And you're like, this is ridiculous. And they keep going up every year. If I
Mhm.
take this and it's the same, in my opinion, as 3 or 4 IUs, at least for an off-season approach, that saves me so much money because like even if with the test moral and prescription, it's still way cheaper than getting a kit of Serostim every month.
Mhm.
And there's
Yeah.
been off seasons where I've had to use a kit and a half of Serostim each month. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
when it really starts. Like 1,000 plus on just GH every month is
Hmm.
absurd. That's insane.
And you're taking 20 units.
Yeah, 20.
So that's 1 milligram.
Yeah.
The maximum dose is two. And so
Wow.
the only reason I don't prescribe it that high is because it's so strong, it's not necessary. And you get that like carpal
Yeah.
tunnel like
Yeah, I
syndrome.
do. But
Hmm.
I actually kind of, and this sounds really weird. It's annoying when I'm typing at my computer, but I actually like feeling that because I know that it's working and I know
Working.
that
It's
my
working.
pituitary gland is cranking. Yeah, it's the
Like
same thing when
my
you're used
wrist
to,
fucking killed. Yes, this is awesome.
when I'm like doing back
My
day and I have
jaw
to
feels
use my
like it's
straps.
breaking. Thank God.
That's literally how it, yeah. When
You're
Emily,
like,
she used
fuck
to run
yeah, I
sales.
can't move my wrist.
You sound like my client. I had a client message me yesterday and he was like, it's his first time on GH. And he's like,
Mm, hell
are my
yeah.
hands supposed to be puffy and like, are they supposed to be hard to squeeze? I'm like, yes, welcome to GH.
Yeah.
You will feel that in the gym and all your muscles and you
You-
will feel amazing.
You'll be, yeah. That's the best thing that could happen right now. We're cooking. Now that your
Yeah.
hands are puffed up, we are cooking.
And we just got you back
Yeah.
on IGF-1 too, right?
Oh yeah, we got
Mhm.
three in, so we're stocked up on that. I'm man, I love IGF-1. I honestly think that with the Tessa, I don't even think I need to run GH. Like truthfully, I don't. I think the IGF-1 levels that are obviously you probably get some increased IGF-1 from the Tessa since it's, growth hormone secretagogue, but the IGF obviously you're going to get an immediate increase in
Right.
IGF-1 levels. Take IGF-1. Is LR3 or DES the faster one?
Des, I think. I
Yeah,
know
I don't
we
like
have,
that because I've tried that one before, and whatever the faster, we're on the slower one. So the IGF-1 LR3 is going to be the slower one, right? That I think that works perfectly for me. I don't know what it was about Des. I tried Des a long time ago, and it was just like it made me kind of feel like sick. But the IGF-1 LR3, I don't feel any crash. I don't feel anything. Like it's like if you guys are watching this and you don't know what it is, imagine taking like 4 scoops of pump without any side effects at all. That's literally what it feels like I'm doing. If you could take
Mhm.
citrulline and more like of these pump supplements and without diminishing returns, that's what IGF-1 is. It works insanely in the gym. The mind muscle connection's insane. The growth you see from it is nuts. I feel
we do
bigger.
have you side injecting that, right?
Yeah, well, it just depends. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll just do sub Q. Like if it's like I don't want my legs to really grow that much, so I won't hit my legs with it. But like, I mean, my
Mhm.
biceps, this sounds crazy, but sometimes I'll hit my biceps with the insulin syringe and
Hmm.
it hurts when I'm training it a little bit. But I mean, the growth, I mean, my arms are probably 2 inches bigger since the Olympia. It's absurd.
Austin posted a story talking about needing to grow his arms, and I immediately texted him. I was like, I'm sending you IGF-1.
Yeah, it was so funny.
Put this in the
People
biceps.
I was like,
People have
inject your
been
biceps with
complimenting my
it.
arms though. Like people are like reaching out to me on my story and they're like, dude, you look huge. And I'm like, I've never had an off season where I'm like, wow, I feel huge. Like I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is the first time and it just started. So I'm just like, holy cow. But no, Follistatin was, I mean, I didn't even know I could grow this much. It's kind of insane,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
It's been, and there's been other people who have like you know, like reached out to me and they're like, oh, like I'm gonna get it from like this website. And I'm like, just be careful because like I have heard a lot of people that are like faking it and it's faked with some stuff that you
Mhm.
don't want to overdose. So just like be careful where you're getting your stuff from because like these
Yeah.
peptide companies, if they're just some like little like I used to be with like I'm not gonna name them, but I used to be with like one of these like over the counter. I like to call them over the counter peptide companies. So let's be honest, if you just send money on through a Zelle and they send you stuff, that's pretty sketch. Like you don't know if they're being honest about the lab tests that they have on the site and stuff. Like just spend the money on it because like I promise you guys, like before I was even affiliated with Morph Health and Wellness, like I mean, when we first started working together, I was paying full price for everything anyways. So it's just like it's it just matters so much, and there's a huge difference in the quality of what you're getting through like an online, you can just order it really fast and it'll be there in 2 days versus like doing it the right way and getting a consult, making sure it works for you and your body. Because you could be taking too much, even if it is legit, you could be taking too much. You could be wasting your money shooting yourself in the foot, or you could be taking too little and not getting anything out of it and wasting money and shooting yourself in the foot. So just make sure you're like Heather literally takes care of all my clients. And I mean, they
Mhm.
all love her. So it's like she's a great spot to go for all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, this was fun. We're
Yeah,
Yeah.
about an
Thank you
hour and
so
20 minutes
much.
in, so I think
Yeah.
we
I
can end it.
know.
But I
Yeah.
really appreciate you, Austin. I
Yeah.
know that this was a very hectic time to try to get you on, so we
Yeah.
appreciate it.
It's all good. It wasn't anything like it was out of my control. If you want to know what happened, my car decided to take a shit on me.
Oh
Oh
Um,
no.
no.
not in a bad like it didn't take a shit on me, but like I had to get my brakes done and I had to get my oil changed. And I went to go get my brakes and oil change done. And you know how these European cars are, they're so fucking expensive for no reason. So I
Mhm.
went and got it done, dished out the money, and then I drove it home. The next day I drove it to the gym. On my way back from the gym, it says they overfilled my oil. And then the check engine light came on. And I'm like, Oh man, they didn't just blow my engine or something, like
Oh
ruin it. So
no.
I start tripping because like, you know how
It's a car,
expensive that's
yeah.
gonna be if it's yeah. And
Yeah.
so I called a tow truck. I had it towed back to my house because I'm like, I'm not even gonna drive it right now. So I towed it back to my house. They fixed it yesterday and gave it back to me, but it was just like a whole week of like dealing with this car. And you know how it is when your car's not working. You try
Mhm.
to get to the gym, you're trying to
Oh
go
Yeah.
yeah.
grocery shopping. But
I was
Everything.
I was in a loaner for
Well,
three
anything throwing
months.
off your routine.
that's
Yeah.
right. You had your Porsche, right? Your Porsche that had to get sent back into the dealership or the mechanic to get worked on.
Yeah, I was in a collision shop for 3 months
Oh my
because
God.
somebody in
It's
front of me,
wild.
I was driving down the road and somebody in front of me hit a giant metal plate and it hit my front end. I had
Oh,
to
that's what
replace
happened?
I had to replace the
Mhm.
bumper, the hood, the
Oh,
windshield, the right headlight, and I had to rewrap the car.
did you have to pay for that out of pocket?
Oh no. I didn't even have
Okay,
to pay
good.
my deductible.
Okay, good. Geez, I was like, you know,
Awesome.
I had to pay out of pocket for the last two
Uh,
months of the rental car, which is what was pissing me off because I'm
yeah,
like, listen,
hmm
I've made two car payments on this vehicle that I can't stand. Put me in this little
hmm
Cracker Jack Volkswagen towel.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
I hate it. There's no
On a
Volkswagen
tint.
Town.
Porsche?
There's no tint
Oh
on the windows.
man, you just want to rip it, but you can't.
Yeah, I'm like trying to speed
Exactly.
past somebody who's like, "Nee," and I'm like, just
Little four
move.
cylinder. It's like revving at like 6,500 RPMs. It's going like 20 miles an hour. You're like,
It was
Oh.
awful. And then when I finally got my car back, I've been in an SUV and now I'm like back on the ground. And
hmm
my tint's so dark you really can't see out of my rearview mirror
you're
if
like
it's
limo
nighttime.
tent.
Huh?
You're like limo tent.
It is like 4%, I think.
Oh, that's pretty dark.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's
pretty
pretty
dark.
dark. And so my steering wheel is also like very firm, and my pedals like the towel took me forever to learn how to drive it because I kept like juding myself forward because
It was real sensitive.
I
Yeah.
have a sports car. I have to put
Yeah,
pressure on the gas pedal for
yeah,
it to go. Whereas these
hmm
little like
yeah.
Cracker Jack boxes, they'll just like and
No, they do. They just take off.
but they don't really go anywhere. They just kind of like jet
No,
you forward and then
they
like
like lurch and then they stop, and you're like,
yeah,
at least like take off.
right?
At least give me like a 2 second 0 to 60 or something. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
it was I hated that car so much. And like I was so
I'm sure
happy
you did.
to get my car back, but I almost had to like
But
learn how to drive it again.
again, yeah.
You
Well, three
know?
months is a freaking long ass time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember the very first time I picked that car up and they had it inside of the dealership. They had it in the showcase and
your Porsche.
yeah, they had it like covered, like so they like unveiled it for me, and all that. They like make a
hmm
spectacle of it. And
Fuck.
I told him, I was like, you're gonna have to pull it out for me because I don't trust
Oh, it's like with
myself.
those tight doors.
Yeah. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't trust myself not to like barricade through your glass.
He's like, all right, you're getting this Porsche, and you think you're not gonna hit something.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Because I was in a
Oh my
Camry
gosh.
before that, and there's
Oh,
nothing
you
wrong.
did what I
Toyota
did.
makes great vehicles, not hating on Camrys, but
You
it's just a
upgraded
very
like
different
hella.
drive. But
Definitely.
oh my goodness, I was so happy to have that car back. And then I had surgery, so I had it back for like 3 weeks before I couldn't drive it again. But
Actually drive it.
you know, I drove the other day. I did drive to the mall, so
There you go. There
we're
you
good.
go.
We're venturing out of the house finally.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
I'm gonna
I'm gotta
stop
get to my
recording.
workout, but thank you. I'm sure people are actually going to enjoy us just not rambling about our freaking boob
Boobs.
jobs
Oh
and our
yeah.
skincare, and actually had somebody interesting on with informative information. So
Thank
we
you,
appreciate
Austin.
you for that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys. If you
Yeah.
ever want to do this again, just let me know.
You can join us anytime you want to.
Okay,
Let's do
We
it.
don't really talk
awesome.
about a whole
Yeah.
lot except bodybuilding and random stuff. So we just
I
wanted
think
a
we should
place
have your
that's
fiance
prep
on
talk.
next, and then
I
we'll
would love
get
to
her
have Emily.
perspective.
Let's do it. I think that'd be
Yeah,
awesome. She needs to do a podcast. I'll tell her
Yeah,
about it.
I'll reach out to her.
we
I'll
would love
text her.
that. Yeah.
What?
I'll text her.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Austin. I'm gonna stop recording.
Awesome.